Very good afternoon to all the viewers and listeners, and a very warm welcome to Ms. Paromita Iyer ma'am, the Regional Manager of NICL, Shri Atul Malhotra ji, the Regional Manager, participating on behalf of NICL. I'm Brajeshwar Sharma, Senior Advisor HR and IR IBA, and have my colleagues S. Sankaraman, Advisor HR and IR, and Mr. Uttam Sharma, Vice President with me. Before I start formally seeking the response to the queries, please permit me to brief you all about the background of this knowledge sharing webinar. As part of 10th Bipartite Settlement Joint Note dated 25th May 2015, a group medical insurance scheme in lieu of hospitalization expenses reimbursement scheme for serving employees and dependent family members was signed between the apex level bank unions associations and IBA representing the management of banks. A mention was also made in the above settlement joint note that the new scheme would also cover the retired officers, employees of the banks, and their spouses, subject to payment of stipulated premium by them. However, joining the scheme was optional for the retirees. The retirees' policies were implemented on 1st November 2015 and is being continuously arranged every year thereafter. With passage of time, few diseases were added in the list of domiciliary coverage for the benefit of the insured, which are type 1 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis, system lupus erythematosus, inflammatory bowel disease, Addison's disease, Hashimoto thyroiditis, autoimmune vasculitis, pernicious anemia, celiac disease, autoimmune myositis. Every year, the renewal of the policies is done by calling quotes of premium from all the IRDA approved insurance companies in a very transparent RFP system. Similarly, this year also the arrangement of policies have been made through a RFP process as per the existing terms and conditions, whereby the National Insurance Company Limited has emerged as the successful bidder. Based on the feedbacks from banks, two inclusions were made with the concurrence of United Forum of Bank Union for the policies commencing from 1st November 2022. And these inclusions are: number one, approved targeted therapies for treatment of cancer in daycare and on stand-alone basis. Second is treatment for age-related macular degeneration, ARMD, and intravitreal injections for eye disorders other than ARMD also. It may be comprehended that the medical insurance scheme in banks is one of the largest policies, catering approximately to 1.64 lakh retirees and their almost 3 lakh lives dependents, as per the data received on 31st of July 2022. The scheme requires no prior medical checkup for joining, and there is no cutoff age for joining or exiting the scheme. There are no capping on any of the diseases or treatment. We are in constant endeavor to make the scheme better for the benefit of the retirees from our banking fraternity. In today's webinar, we have requested NICL, the senior officials from NICL, to respond to the queries which we have received through various modes. I will read out all the queries and will request Madam Iyer and Shri Malhotra ji to please respond. For the benefit of the viewers and listeners, I will let them know that the recording of this live streaming shall be available on YouTube, which may be used as reference in future also, and also by those who could not join us now. So now one by one, I will read out the queries and will request Iyer ma'am and Malhotra ji to please respond. I will begin with Madam Iyer. The first query that we received is we should have a copy of the proposed policy in advance so that we know what are the inclusions, exclusions, room rent entitlement, co-pay, etc.
Good afternoon, everybody, all the listeners. Namaskar from National Insurance. I represent my company to give a response to the queries that have been raised by our very valued customers. Well, my reply to the first query is the copies of policies are being made available to the bank's HR department, and the retirees can obtain it from them. And for your information, the policy is drafted exactly as the bipartite agreement, which all of you must be knowing about. So there are no deviations in the terms and conditions that are there in the bipartite. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The second query I will pose to Sri Malhotra ji. If we now take a base policy of rupees 2 lakh this year, can we increase the base policy amount with or without super top-up policy next year, that is 23-24, or will there be any restrictions or caps?
Good afternoon, everyone. My reply to this query is, as of now, there is no restriction in enhancement of the sum insured. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we'll request Madam Iyer to please respond to this query. Will the upcoming policy for 2022-23 cover targeted immunotherapy for cancer patients? Will there be any caps for the same?
Yes, the upcoming policy for 22-23 will cover the targeted immunotherapy for cancer patients. There is no capping for this treatment, availing this treatment. Only it may be noted that customary and reasonable clause and the room rent capping, which is already there inbuilt in the policy, will apply.
Thank you, Iyer ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Malhotra sahab will be requested for responding to this query. If I decide not to take upcoming policy under the IVA arrangement this year, can I join the GMIS next year with full freedom, or will there be any restriction, waiting period, caps for making claims, etc. on rejoining?
The policy does not have any waiting period or cap at the time of joining. Rejoining has been allowed in this year's policy. However, it may be introduced in subsequent years also. Thank you.
Thank you. Next query to Iyer ma'am. We can request for flexibility in base policy to take cover with super top-up policy. That is, can there be a relaxation in the base policy amount in order to be eligible for taking a super top-up?
It is not possible to offer flexibility in selection of base policy for availing super top-up policy as of now. The super top-up policy is available only when the threshold sum insured is opted for a given cadre, that is 3 lakh for the award staff and 4 lakh for officers. The norms have already been communicated from our end to the banks.
Thanks. Malhotra sahab, is there a possibility of reduction in insurance premium at par with Star Medical Insurance? They are charging approximately rupees 50,000, 15,000 for a cover of rupees 10 lakhs.
So, it may be noted that the product offered by Star Health Insurance or any other general insurance policy is quite different from the IVA policy, as these policies are retail policies and they target individuals and their family. While the IVA policy has much wider coverage, there are no capping other than room rent, ICU, and ambulance charges. There are no waiting period for pre-existing diseases or named conditions. The benefits are not comparable at all, hence it is not possible to reduce the premium in IVA policy to match any retail product. Thank you.
Thank you. Iyer ma'am, can NICL introduce a no claim discount or bonus? It would be of benefit to all those people who pay hefty premium but do not have any claims during the year. So that's a
Sorry, we regret to inform that in group policies, group mediclaim policies, there is no provision of offering any no-claim discount. Thank you.
Thank you. Malhotra Sahab is requested to respond to this query. Presently, all the vulnerable insured are grouped under retirees policies who shoulder the maximum burden. The younger and healthier group has a separate policy. NICL should work out the actuarial impact on combining the two policies, that is for employees as well as the retirees, as one corporate entity and work out the claim outlay and refix viable premium rates. I'm sure if many other insurance companies can provide floater policies with much lower premium for age group from 18 to 80 years or more, IBA sponsored NICL policy should be able to reduce premium level after doing actuarial impact study.
The, the separate policies for employees and retirees are being issued as per the terms of RFP, and hence NICL cannot take a decision on combining the two on their own. The premium rates of both variants are being calculated by the actuarial of the NICL policy on the basis of various factors, not limited only to claim experience, medical inflation, demographic projections, etc. Thank you.
Thank you. Next query for Iyer ma'am. Single premium benefit should be made available to the retired staff only for self, even where the spouse is alive and has alternate medical insurance and does not need floater cover.
Sir, as insurers, we wish to ensure that all eligible retirees are covered under the policy and no one is deprived of the benefit. Moreover, our premium calculation for this year has been based on the data available on single and double member families. Hence, at this juncture, it is not possible for us to accede to this request. Thank you.
GMIS premium can be reduced substantially with some percentage, say for example 10 to 15% as co-pay as an additional option. Co-pay means probably the query relates to the person that the insured person should also be made to share some burden of the cost.
Sir, co-payment condition was not a part of the RFP this year, but the same can be considered for next year's policy, provided it is incorporated in the bipartite agreement and the RFP is designed with this condition. Thank you.
So unless and until the terms and conditions of the RFP is modified subsequent to the negotiation of bipartite, it cannot be incorporated. Yes, sir. Thank you. Iyer ma'am, for any serious ailments like heart, liver, kidney, etc., only 25% should be contributed by the proposer, that is patient cancer, to be given full cover. Most important is to consider giving single coverage if a spouse is other way covered.
So for the spouse single coverage, if the spouse is other way covered, we have already covered in the previous question. And for the benefit of our listeners, the viewers, all the members, I would inform that for critical illnesses like cancer, the policy is providing full cover. And for the rest of the diseases, the suggestion can be considered after mutual agreement between the negotiating parties for next year's policy.
Malhotra Saab, please respond to this query. Can the insurance company add one comprehensive health checkup for the insured anytime during the currency of the policy year?
Sir, this request can be considered for next year, provided it is incorporated in the bipartite agreement and the RFP is designed with this condition. One thing is there, it may also be noted that this inclusion of the benefit may have impact on the next year pricing.
So you mean to say that if we try to gain more benefit out of that beyond the scope of the policy, it will jack up the price of the
Yes, sir. There will be
cost of the treatment.
Pricing impact.
Pricing impact. Thank you. Here, ma'am, premium for those slabs in base policy for which the benefit of low super top premium benefit is not available can be substantially reduced. That is for officers premium for 1 lakh to 3 lakh and for award staff rupees 1 lakh to 2 lakh.
Sir, as per the current conditions, the super top-up is available only when a certain threshold sum insured is opted, and the norms have already been communicated. So at least for this year, it will not be possible for us to consider.
You mean to say that top up starts only when you reach the threshold level?
Yes, sir.
Once you reach the maximum,
and option for top-up is also available only for the people who opt for a certain threshold sum insured. For the lower sum insureds, right now we are not. But okay, we are open to considering this request in the subsequent years, depending on how the policy behaves.
Thank you. Malhotra sir, a large number of retirees are not IT tech savvy. So uploading the claim documents would be difficult for them. And at present, the physical submission of the documents to the designated addresses, including local offices of the TPA, should be continued. So if you have got some plans to do away with this system, there is a query that you should not do away with, you should continue with this, the present system that is in place. So is there any?
Sir, we confirm that this benefit will continue. The retirees can submit their documents physically to the TPA as they were doing in recent past also.
So that's a great relief for the retirees then. Thank you. Iyer ma'am, claim-related communications, including full reasons of rejection or partial disallowance, should be directly sent by the TPA to the retiree through emails, SMS, instead of getting it sent to the head office of the banks. Sufficient time should be allowed for submission also. So this is a request from some of the retirees.
So we can certainly consider this request. We will get in touch with the bank HR department, because currently we are sending mostly the TPAs are communicating the shortfall or rejection to them. So, and we can work out a system certainly. And for regarding sufficient time, as it is, we are now allowing sufficient time, and reminders are being sent to the retirees. And if at all the claim at any point gets closed, then we are certainly reopening and settling the claims.
I also personally feel that whenever there is a rejection of the claim or there is a partial disallowance, the claimant should be in full knowledge of the reasons for rejection or disallowance.
Yes,
so
sir.
that is definitely going to give them lots of comfort. Thank you. Malhotra sir, policy annexes where ceiling on various specified ailments is fixed is notified should also be provided to all the retirees.
Sir, as always, already confirmed that all annexes are available with bank HR department and the same can be obtained from them. We would like to confirm that the policy is drafted exactly as per the bipartite agreement. Thank you.
Thank you. Iyer ma'am, premium paid receipt should be automatically emailed to the retirees before December end. Can it be made possible?
Yes, sir. We have noted down this request for compliance. And as informed earlier, we are giving them the certificate for IT compliance, IT filing of the returns.
Okay.
And regarding the receipts, we will get in touch with the bank HR and accordingly we'll work out.
Prasad, with such high premium proposed, NICL should cover all the critical illness in the proposed policy without a cap. That's a genuine demand.
Sir, in this policy, all critical illness are covered without any capping, but subject to customary and reasonable clause and deduction of NMEs.
What is NMEs? Can you please elaborate?
So there's a list of the non-medical payables,
okay,
which are not payable, and these are part of the policy. It is circulated to all the bank's HR department. For the benefit of the viewers, if they want, they can obtain a copy of the bank's HR for more clarity.
I think it's a good piece of information that every claimant should know what claims are not admissible, and if they are in knowledge of those enemies, they will not be getting dissatisfied if something is deducted or something is not settled. So
there will not be any unpleasant surprise.
So they should be in full knowledge that these claims are not going to be admitted. Yes, ma'am. Next, top-up should be allowed at least for equal amount of our option. For example, if we opt for rupees 2 lakh, the top-up should also be allowed for rupees 2 lakh. I think you have already responded to, but
twice
yeah,
we have already. This question seems to
correct.
be coming up very frequently. But anyway, again, I'll just at the cost of repetition. It's not possible as of now. Normally, top-up is always allowed only after reaching a threshold limit. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Malhotra sir,
Yes.
a review of the premium structure by at least 10% would encourage many not to leave the group. Feedback indicates there will be a large scale reduction in the number of applicants. So this query tends to inform us that the increase in premium could lead to less number of people opting for this policy. What is your take on this?
So we would like to inform that any reduction in premium would not be possible in the current policy, as the same has been calculated by our actuary on the basis of the claim experience.
Right. Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
Many senior citizens undergo cataract operation because the retirees are all senior citizens only. So the insurance policy has not stipulated any limit for it. But on claim, the TPA pays a fixed amount, stating that the balance exceeds the cataract operation limit. So they themselves fix a certain limit, internal limit. That is the query. Can NICL unilaterally fix a limit which is not indicated in the insurance policy? In case where there are specified limits, such limit should be incorporated in the insurance policy to avoid needless correspondence. I think this is something that is
Yes, sir.
causing enough
Yes, sir.
hard part.
Yes, sir. This is a very pertinent pain point, if
Yes.
I may be frank enough. So the policy does not have any specified limit for cataract surgery, but the TPAs have negotiated package rates with the network hospitals, which ensure quality treatment at a very economical cost. So that is the reason that we always tell that we encourage our, especially the retirees, to go for cashless treatment and in the network hospitals, because it saves a lot of money for everyone. This helps the insureds to save on their own sum insured for future ailments, if any, and keeps the overall costs at a very sustainable level. And it may be noted that the policy also has a reasonable customary and medically necessary clause, which is applicable for all kinds of treatment. Anyway, we are still advising, we have been advising, and we are continuing with that practice of advising the TPS to treat these claims with more sensitivity. If someone doesn't go for a network package, then at least they should get a comparable, settlement for such claims.
So that's a good suggestion. And while responding to the query, you have suggested the insured people also
Yes.
to avail cashless facility to
Yes,
the
more
maximum.
and more cashless,
More and
because,
more cashless.
because a lot of stringent quality check is done when we are incorporating the network hospitals.
Yes.
So there'll be no compromise on the quality of treatment, the implants, or the post-operative care also. So that's why they don't have to pay upfront and then wait for the reimbursement, which may take some time, 15, 20 days. And of course, there's the cost saving for everyone.
Very nice suggestion. I think all the viewers and listeners are requested to kindly take a careful note of this, and to the extent possible, the cashless facility should be availed and should be made more popular by all the
So
people.
not only
Yes.
cataract, for
all
all surgeries,
yes.
whichever there is a negotiated package rate, they should go for that.
Very nice. Thank you. Malhotra Saab, what is the room rent eligibility? In case the actual room rent exceeds the permitted level, would there be a proportionate cut in the eligibility of other hospitalization expenses?
Sir, as per the policy terms and conditions, the room rent eligibility is rupees 5,000 for sum insured, or rupees 3 lakhs and 4 lakhs. But for retirees opting for lower sum insured, like rupees 1 lakh or 2 lakh, room rent eligibility is 1.5% of the sum insured. And sir, it is a normal practice of hospitals to link all other hospitalization expenses to the type of room occupied or room rent. Sometimes expenses may go exorbitantly high, and such claims may be processed with proportionate deduction.
Thank you. Ma'am, for a chemotherapy, whether 24 hours admission is a must or it can be, if it is given during daycare, will it be admissible?
Sir, for chemotherapy, there is no need for a 24 hours admission. Daycare is enough. It should be only thing is that the daycare center should be conforming to the definition of a hospital. That's about it. Otherwise, there is no need.
So that's a very humane consideration. I think the next question also, Malhotra Sahab, relates to the chemotherapy itself. For oral chemotherapy, whether admission is a must or daycare is enough?
Sir, there is no need of an admission. It can be taken into daycare, provided the basic requirement, as ma'am has said, should be.
Okay. After the surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy, if the treatment is to be continued, including chemotherapy till curing of the diagnosed disease, whether chemotherapy costs are covered or not?
Yes, sir. After the treatment, till the cure or say eradication of cancer, whatever treatment is required, it is covered subject to availability of sum insured.
Oh, that's great.
Only inhibiting factor will be that if the sum insured gets exhausted, then it is not available. But otherwise, NSCL will continue. The policy will take care of.
Thank you. So now, with this, we'll be coming to an end. The last question, Malhotra Sahab, I'll be posing to you. As these treatments are cost intensive, the limits will be exhausted very soon by the network hospitals as their diagnostic, laboratory costs, doctor charges are very heavy. Some better facilities, eminent doctors with better MRI facilities at competitive or less costs available in the non-network, government registered and approved cancer hospitals satisfying to the infrastructure criteria like number of beds, OT facilities, and doctors, etc. are available. Whether the reimbursement facilities are available for treatment of chemotherapy or not?
Yes, sir. Reimbursement facility will be available. The only criteria, as given in the question itself, that it should meet the basic requirement of hospitals. It will be done. Thank you.
Thank you. I think with this, we have come to an end of this knowledge sharing webinar. And I profusely, from the core of my heart, on behalf of IBA and on behalf of all the retirees and the bank employees who are subscribers to the policies, thank profusely Sri Atul Malhotra ji and Paromita Iyer ma'am, the regional managers of NICL, for coming to our office and responding to the queries that has been collected and posed to them. We'll request them again to respond to the queries if any such query come in future. And
we are always there.
Yeah, thank you. So thanks all the listeners and viewers for participating and listening to this response to the queries. For the benefit of all, let me declare that this is the live streaming on the YouTube channel, and the recording of which is going to remain on the YouTube channel for the benefit of those who would like to review and view once again, and for those who could not see the live streaming. Thanks once again to all of you and to all my colleagues from the NICL. Thank you. So nice.